Hey Gemini, welcome to May. This is a big month for you, Gemini, because the sun moves into your sign on May 20th. And your ruling planet, Mercury, the planet of communication, the planet that rules roadways and pathways, planet that's associated with merchants. The planet Mercury will move into your sign on May 25th. So it's going to be an interesting month. Now, you still have Jupiter hanging out in your sign. Jupiter's the planet of luck and blessings. It's been there since last May. It'll be with you until June 9th. And this is going to help teach us Geminis to connect, to share, to prosper in everyday life, which Gemini, you're pretty good at. Okay. So things, with Jupiter there, things can get big. And I think you've been going through a little bit of a rough patch there recently, but that's going to start to lighten up this month. Now, you know that you're going to have this trine with Pluto for like 19 more years. So a trine is a positive aspect. And Pluto is the planet of transformation and change. And it's in the sign of Aquarius, an air sign. And you are an air sign, Gemini. So you've got this nice trine going on with this really powerful, heavy-hitting planet, Pluto. So this can really help remove things that don't work for you. Pluto rules other people's money. There can be big opportunities for you, Gemini. It's a really stellar month for you. Now, you do have a square with the planets that are in Pisces, but in May, most of the planets have moved out of Pisces. We just have Saturn hanging out there until the 24th of the month, where it's going to make its move into Aries after 2.5 years in Pisces. So this square will end. Saturn is the planet of responsibility, kind of like Lord of the Zodiac. So that's going to help too when that square ends, okay? Because that's been going on for 2.5 years. So there might have been a lot of hard work, a lot of intensity, and that's going to change. Also, because you square planets in Pisces, we've had a ton of planets in Pisces for a really long time, and kind of a longer time than usual, because usually we go through Pisces season and it lasts 30 days, but we've had Neptune hanging out in there for 14 years. We've had let's see what else. What do we have? We had the sun there. We had Mercury and Venus dancing around, going back and forth between Pisces and Aries during the retrograde periods. So this is a good time for you, Gemini, that these squares are lightening up. And by the 24th, those squares will end. So life begins to open up for you. Now, we have the new moon in the sign of Gemini this month, and the new moon is all about newness, and it's when farmers plant their seeds, and it's when we make wishes or place our order to the universe and we allow things to grow. Okay, so we have the new moon in Gemini on 5/26. And you want to make sure you're tending to your needs and not just everybody else's, okay? Now, the moon will continue on in the sign of Gemini until Wednesday, the 28th at 1:33 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's going to be a powerful time for you. The moon is also in Gemini at the beginning of the month from Tuesday, April 29th through Thursday, May 1st, May Day, Beltane, at 3:23 a.m. So those are definitely going to be some power times for you, but especially the one towards the end of the month when we have the full moon in Gemini. Now, Gemini, you're such a social sign. You have a lot on your mind. You have a lot to share. I always think of you as like moving like really fast, a little bit here, there, everywhere. And I'm a Gemini moon, and you can probably notice that about me too. So, okay, so Gemini, beautiful month ahead. Now, I picked a couple cards in advance. I looked at these so that I could get a sense for you of the month. The first card that comes out is the Seven of Pentacles. And Pentacles is anything of value. And 7 is your spiritual path. So there's something that you've been working hard on, right? He's like looking like he's got his hoe. He's working in his garden, and he knows that hard work over time pays off. You've been dealing with this Saturn square for 2.5 years. You've been working hard, and now you will begin to see the payoff. Now, I was happy to see the King of Swords show up because this is a Gemini king, and it's St. John's wort. And I've talked about St. John's wort before. It's a great plant. We use it for seasonal depression. And so it's got bright yellow flowers. It's like liquid sunshine. So there's a lot of joy there. I like how he's wearing yellow too. So you've got some king energy, some power position, King of Swords. You're going to feel like yourself this month. And it's almost like the fog is lifting. The weather's changing. The seasonal depression is kind of lightening up now as we get more sunlight. And so we're in a power position there with the King of Swords, the king of big business. Okay. Six of Swords shows up, more air energy, which you are, Gemini. Six of Swords is about moving forward, getting on with things. And I like how the little snake, you see the little snake behind his boat. And so to me, a snake references Scorpio energy, and you remember you have that trine with Pluto, and Pluto is the ruling planet for Scorpio along with Mars. And so I think Pluto is really going to help you out and get things moving. Okay. Six of Swords often can indicate an actual move. And your last card that I got was from the Oracle of Mystical Moments, and it says, under my umbrella. And this guy's like climbed up this bird to hold this umbrella over the bird's head. And it's a card about friendship. And I don't know, Gemini, I think you can be a good friend because you almost can like multitask a lot of things, and people are important to you, and conversation is important for you, and connection is important for you. So it shows like some good friendship there. And it's card number 20, which we would call a 2. So it's a relationship number. So it looks like you've got some interesting friends there. Okay, so these are your theme cards for the month. I'm just going to push them to the back, and then we're going to pick some cards for each week. Okay. We're going to use the Everyday Witch or tarot deck, the little mini ones, and we're going to pull one for each week. And let's see what you need to know. We're going to call this 4 weeks. We're going to start off with Sunday the 4th, Mother's Day, Monday the 11th. I haven't looked at any of these yet. The Sunday the 18th week ahead, and then the last week, the 25th, which is Memorial Day. So let's see what we've got. Week 1. We've got the Lovers. Not a bad way to start off. This is a Gemini card. So more Gemini energy. This is a 6. This is about choices, but it's also about connection. And we even see that the cats got their tails entwined with each other there. So there is a lot of friendship, companionship, love with the Lovers starting you off. First week. Okay, let's see what we get for the second week. On Mother's Day week, you have the Page of Cups. It's almost like being a kid again, the Page of Cups. The Page of Cups is so joyful, and he's just so looking for satisfaction and joy. And in this one, you can see him painting. So there's a lot of fun here. And if you're looking for something to do with mom, maybe it's a great thing to do. I know one of my daughters a couple Christmases ago, all she wanted to do was paint. And I've never been a good painter. I've never really tried much. And I went and did it, and I had a great time. And I actually have the painting hanging on the wall still as a reminder that sometimes you just got to show up and try something. Okay, so I see you showing up and giving it a whirl, getting a little messy with the paints, but having fun. All right. Now, week 3, this starts off on May 18th, and we've got the Happy Family card here with the 10 of Cups. So we've got a little family picnic going on. You can see that. And it's a card of joy. And it's a card, it feels like so weather appropriate right now. So he's even painting outside. It almost feels like almost like the same situation. They're like by a river and they're painting and they're having a picnic. I really like the vibes. Okay, let's see what the last week is for you. And you've got the moon. And the moon is kind of like the mother, right? It's think of the moon in astrology. The moon in astrology is related to the mother, but the moon in tarot is more related to the sign Pisces. And I love how this cat, you can see his reflection there. When he sees himself in the pool of water, he sees a much larger cat. And so I love the attention on the witch up there. So there's a lot of power. There's an intuitive knowing, and my eye just goes up to that witch at the top because I see a lot of forward movement, okay? So if you have been waiting for forward movement, I know that most of us have with all those planets in Pisces, we're starting to see things here. We're starting to see forward movement and also completion of something with the 10 of Cups showing up, all right? So you got really lovely cards. Now, let's roll some dice. And you rolled, let's see, what is your planet? Your planet is Jupiter in Libra in the 7th house. Interesting that you already have Jupiter in your sign currently. Remember, we were talking about that and how it's just going to be for a little bit longer. Jupiter's the planet of luck, blessings, and expansion. We see the sign Libra here, and Libra is all about relationships, but it's also about legal matters, right? So anytime you sign a legal contract or you go into like negotiating for a sale of something, that's Libra energy. So we see Jupiter, lucky, Libra, and 7th house, which is Libra's house. Okay, so if you're looking for love, this has got love written all over it. If you're looking for an opportunity, if there's a sale of something, you could luck out. Okay, there is showing kind of forward movement there. And we saw the 6 of Swords also. So things are not still, and it looks like the vibes are really great from here. So I'm excited. I'm a Gemini moon. I'm happy to see this energy here, and I hope that you are too. All right, let's throw some dice. All right, let's see what we got going on here. So right at the top is the letter U. It was upside down, but there's U and there's a crystal, quartz crystal right up there, which is an amplifier. Okay. And then let me flip over some of these letters here. This one's a blank. We got P and Z, planning and zoning. We've got, okay, what else? Okay. I almost want to say the word farm, but that's an W, but it looks like an M. Okay. So let's start at the top here. On the 6th, you have the letter F and a symbol for what looks like a star, one big star on the 6th of May. On the 7th, you've got a moon and the letter N. Over here on the 10th, you have P and Z and a blank. Okay, so you could say it's the word zap, Z-A-P, or it could have some theme of planning and zoning. And we know that we saw something about legal matters also. All right, so there could be some purchase of land or home purchase, something like that. We see some legal matters coming in. I see the word wear, W-E-A-R. I see the name Zoe, Z-O-E. I see what else? I see the word Oz, O-Z. And I see fair, F-A-I-R, fair, the word we. All right, let's see what else we've got. On the 13th, we've got the letter R. 14th has a lot of energy. We've got a rose, votes for women, and a book, like a journal. So the 14th and 15th, a lot of feminine energy there. Votes for women, a rose, and a notebook. On the 17th, we have a letter A. On the 19th, the letter O. W on the 22nd, along with another quartz crystal. Little butterfly on the 24th. And Memorial Day, you've got a lot of energy here. You've got a symbol. It says Scorpio, passionate, and Aquarius, friendly. Okay, so that might be a really social day for you, Gemini, on the 26th. Then you've got a letter Z on the 27th, the word part, P-A-R-T, and a sun symbol. Over here on the 29th, you got the letter E, and on the 30th, you have a castle. I got a spare eye floating over here. All right, so it looks like weekend-wise, the 10th has the most power on it. The 14th and 15th look like they have a lot of energy. The 26th, Memorial Day, and the 27th have a lot of energy on them also. Now let's look and see what the dice have to say for power dates. So I already gave you some of the days that the moon will be in your sign. But let's give you a few more off of the dice. So you rolled Jupiter, which rules the sign Sagittarius. And we know that the moon will be moving into Sagittarius on Tuesday, the 13th at 4:35 a.m. It will be there the 14th and 15th through 3:58 p.m. And you had a lot of energy there too. Then you rolled the sign Libra. So the moon will be in the sign of Libra starting on Thursday, the 8th. At 3:06 a.m. This is Eastern Standard Time through Friday the 9th through Saturday the 10th until 3:58 p.m. And the 10th was chock full of energy there for you also. So it looks like a great, amazing month ahead for you, Gemini. It definitely feels stellar. And make sure you're tending to yourself as life begins to open up for you again. Thanks for joining me.